The most common question I get as the spouse of someone who's carrying a baby for another family is, does she not have a hard time handing that baby to that other family? And
what if something is wrong with the baby? What if 6 months down the road they find something and this baby is not going to have quality of life at all? That's a tough situation to be in.
Our very first call with them, they were like, "You got any questions, Eddie?" And I was like, well, so she's really just more like an easy bake oven.
Matchmaking is like going on a blind date and saying yes to someone that you're going to commit to for the next year. I didn't feel like postpartum depression per se, but there is a feeling of my job here is done, but there is no baby. When my daughter was born, I knew that my family was complete. I didn't want to have any more kids of my own, but I do truly love being pregnant, and I'm good at it. I feel my best when I'm pregnant. So I thought, if my body can handle another pregnancy, I would love to help somebody else who may not be able to do this on their own. And so completed my first journey in 2018. It was something I really, really loved and was very fulfilled by. And so wanted to continue doing it. Had my second surrogate baby in 2022.
Mother's Day
2022, which was very special. And then here I am carrying my third surrogate.
And final.
Yes.
So I wasn't around for the first surrogacy. So I knew she had done it, but then she came to me and said that she was thinking about doing it again. And my answer was always, as long as you're not doing it just for the money, right? As long as you're doing it because you love it and you want to help these people. And then to be a part of it and see the reaction when she has that baby on Mother's Day and hands the baby over. I actually keep a picture on my phone and show it to people, and they're like, how can she do that? Does she have a hard time giving that baby up? And I'm like, not at all. And let me show you why. And I'll show them the picture of the parents standing there crying as she's having this baby. And everybody's like, oh my God, gives me chills just talking about it.
That was probably a top 3 moment of my life when I had my last surrogate baby. And I've had my own children. Those are top moments of my life too. But this last family, we just fell in love with them. They are so close to us. And, it wasn't planned. It did not go the way that we thought it was going to go at all. I went in for a routine sonogram, and the doctor said, I think it's time for this baby to come. And I was not prepared. I didn't have my bags packed. He was on his way to a business lunch with his business partner. And I called him in tears. And I was like, they're sending me to labor and delivery right now. I need you to come to the hospital. And so it was a little chaotic, a little stressful. I called the intended parents and I said, you guys need to come now. And so
they rented a car and drove 12 hours
overnight
to be there.
That Sunday morning, this nurse came in and was like, we're having this baby today. And I was like, let's do it. And so she maneuvered me. She moved my body around. She was like, we're getting this baby out. And the intended parents were right next to me. The dad is in the medical field, so he was very familiar with what was going on.
Mom was a mess.
She was very emotional. And they said, okay, it's time. It's time to push. And within
it was quick.
15, 20 minutes, that baby was out. And I mean,
that's the picture I took where the parents are standing beside the bed and the mom's standing there, the baby's laying there, and both of the parents are just bawling.
That moment, I could cry thinking about it right now.
It gives me chills every time.
Knowing that, that moment, she got to celebrate her very first Mother's Day by having her baby in her arms, finally. And she had, to be a little bit frank, she had experienced loss on Mother's Day before. And so it was a really sweet full circle moment for us to be able to be a part of that. So special for her to just lean over and say thank you, like you did this for me.
I see my role as just support, and really that's it, right? Just supporting her, helping her.
You're really good at building relationship with the intended parents too.
I do love meeting the intended parents and talking to them and knowing what their journey's been like, as well as why they're having to go to surrogacy, why they're choosing to go to surrogacy, and talking about how awesome it's going to be a parent.
So my relationship with my intended parents has always been really open and close, and we communicate pretty regularly. I still have a really good relationship with my surrogate families. I get updates, I get pictures, I hear about what they're doing, I see their lives, and for me that's really almost just as fulfilling as having the baby, because I get to see this family that would otherwise not be there if I hadn't had a part of it. Surrogacy pregnancies are a little bit different from your own pregnancies in that the mindset is a little bit different. For me, it's always been, this is somebody else's pregnancy, per se. And so I want the parents to have as much involvement as they can while they're not the ones actually pregnant. I want them to be a part of all those big moments, like when I feel the baby for the first time, when the baby has hiccups. I'll send videos of my stomach like moving around when their baby is going crazy, just so that they can have as much involvement as they can without actually being the ones going through the pregnancy. My kids are very understanding of the process. My daughter, who's 8 now, will come up and just say, "Hi, baby," to to the belly. But she's very excited about it. She tells her teacher, she tells her friends, like, "My mommy's carrying a baby for another family." And I think the understanding around it is, people in the world, like, they may not be able to do things for themselves all the time, but if we have the ability to help someone or give back in some way, then we should say yes to that. That is the goodness that I feel like I like to teach my kids to bring to the world. Keep saying yes when you have the opportunity. Keep helping when you have the opportunity.
And they don't think there's anything odd about it. They just...
Yeah.
It's just mom's having a baby for another family, and that's it.
For me personally, the challenges I have gone through during surrogacy is knowing that, like, my body is physically changing for someone else. So there is no, like, when I go home from the hospital, I don't have a baby to take care of. I'm taking care of myself. But it's a very different experience when you don't go home with a baby after you've given birth. And the recovery is a little bit different. It's quicker physically, but it is emotionally can take a little bit longer because you are postpartum without the care like that you're having to give to a newborn. I didn't feel like postpartum depression per se, but there is a feeling of my job here is done, but there is no baby. There's no end result. Like when I go out into the world, people don't know that I've just had this huge moment in my life. Like I don't have a baby to show for it. This family is eternally grateful, but emotionally for me, it was very interesting to work through going out into the world and everything is just back to normal. But you've had this big moment and the world just doesn't know about it.
Yeah, I think she takes it and turns all of that to herself, and I'm ready to get my body back to where it was before. And so she gets very heavily involved in exercise and going to the gym and taking care of herself, which I think is also probably super helpful emotionally for her, because now I think that's where she turned her focus.
Yeah. And I do like to focus after I've given birth and taken that time for this other family to spend and focus it more on my own kids and my own family and pouring into them. We always like to take a big trip with the kids after surrogacy. So we start planning, something special to do with our family to kind of celebrate that moment for me and their support in my dreams. So that's really special when we get to go and do something really fun with the kids. I would say every single surrogacy journey I've done has been completely different, but every match has been really special in its own way. I have so much respect and love for my surrogate families. I think for me, just the communication and the relationship that you build during surrogacy, matchmaking is like going on a blind date and saying yes to someone that you're going to commit to for the next year. And you're going to be very closely tied to this family for life, it feels like. My last surrogate family was like, you're coming to his wedding. And I had just given birth and she was like, you're coming to all of his major life events, because we just became very close and had such a special relationship. Our current intended parents, we go to dinner with them.
They're awesome.
Regularly.
I think for her, it's really important that she's going to be involved with them for the rest of her life, that she's going to have a relationship with them. And it's not that we see them all the time. We don't see the kid all the time, but we're in group text messages and birthdays, and the last parents send her kids birthday gifts, and it's just been created a really good friendship with them.
I think matchmaking is different for everybody. It can be a journey where you just want to complete the process, and you don't necessarily, it doesn't matter to you either way if you are able to have that relationship afterwards, and that's okay. I think it's a personal decision whether or not you want that relationship afterwards or not. I would say the agency during surrogacy plays such a huge and important role. You really want to find an agency that you align with, who value what you value out of surrogacy as a whole. So I appreciate the fact that the matchmaking process is we want to get to know you as a person, what your lifestyle is like, what is important to you throughout this journey, what your goals are for surrogacy. And then we're gonna find an intended parent or intended parents who are in alignment with what your goals are and what your values are for surrogacy. Because when you put two people together for such a huge moment like this, you want to make sure that you're in step. You are, communicating you
both have the same goals and ideas of what you want it all to look like.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some hard questions to tackle. Hard questions as far as selective termination. Like, what if something is wrong with the baby? What if 6 months down the road they find something and this baby is not going to have quality of life at all? That's a tough situation to be in as a surrogate when it's not your own decision. You are considering somebody else, and they're the parents of this baby. So when you have a baby and they get the result of what so it can be really tough to tackle some questions, some conversations. and you really want to make sure that your agency has done a good job of aligning what your values are, so that those conversations don't have to be quite as hard.
And I can't imagine you would think to have a lot of those conversations if you weren't working with an agency.
Yeah, this is why I feel very strongly that you should have an agency backing you when you're going through surrogacy.
So the most common question I get as the spouse of someone who's carrying a baby for another family is, does she not have a hard time handing that baby to that other family? And I just tell them that once you see and experience that moment, it's understandable how she can hand that baby to that mother and be okay with it, because she knows what an amazing gift she's just given this family. And
two, the mindset of the whole journey is, I'm doing this for them. This baby belongs to them in the first place. It's not our baby. We're just the vessel that this baby is coming, through to end up with its family, right?
Our very first call with them, they were like, you got any questions, Eddie? And I was like, well, so she's really just more like an easy bake oven, and she's going to grow this baby for them, and then we're going to hand that baby off and see the amazing gift that they get and how it changes their life. And just once you experience it, there's nothing like it.
And it's also like, hey, I'm going home to take a nap. I'm going to go sleep.
I'm going to go get a margarita at Chewy's. Yeah, that's our celebration, is as soon as I have this baby, we're going to go get a margarita.
Yes.
And celebrate.
Yeah.